What's up, everybody? It's your girl Phaedra, and you are listening to Phaez Place, the podcast. A lot of things are debatable, like what team is your favorite, who's the best singer of all time, or even what restaurant you want to cater your special event. Different points of view are acceptable and crucial when it comes to making a decision. However, there are just some things that are not up for debate. When it comes to the way people treat other human beings, it is imperative that it's respectful and kind. When these requirements are not met, we, like Queen Vashti, need to refuse its demands. Esther chapter 1 verses 10 through 12 reads, On the 7th day of the feast, when King Xerxes was in high spirits because of the wine, he told the 7 eunuchs who attended him to bring Queen Vashti to him with the royal crown on her head. He wanted the nobles and all the other men to gaze on her beauty, for she was a very beautiful woman. But when they conveyed the king's order to Queen Vashti, she refused to come. This made the king furious, and he burned with anger. As we start our journey into the book of Esther, the author gives us an explicit illustration of the type of king who is in the office. We see that he's a self-indulging, wayward partier who lacks decorum and discipline. He has come into reign and exploited his position in the palace. We find in this first chapter of Esther that King Xerxes is throwing an elaborate party for days without limits on drinking and other festivities in pursuit to impress his guests. Simultaneously, his wife, Queen Vashti, hosts a banquet with the women in another part of the palace. On the 7th day of the king's banquet, and as a complete act of self-aggrandizement in an already overextended parade, King Xerxes is determined to show off another possession, his queen. He sends his servants to bring Queen Vashti and specifies her to wear her crown to parade her beauty and exert his control. This reveals his attitude towards his wife. Instead of being joined to her as a committed covenant partner, Xerxes treats her as one more object that will bring him prestige. In other words, he is saying that she is not someone to be honored and loved, but merely something that brings him entertainment and is only worthy of being displayed. Friends, it is a sad case when people will boo your humanity but cheer for your entertainment. And to this end, Vashti refuses his order. What a crushing blow that was to his pride and his facade of power. The most powerful man at the party couldn't even get his prized possession to show up to his little feast. After seeking bad advice from a nervous, small-minded, and chauvinistic council, Xerxes fired the person who challenged his demands. Queen Vashti was banished from the palace. So many times we reverence Esther as a heroine, and rightfully so, but we must not forget the one who paved the way. Queen Vashti's refusal hints at her own dignity. While the text does not explicitly state why Vashti said no, it is not difficult to surmise that she is loath to show herself, clothed or otherwise, before a large group of men well under the influence of their wine. She saw herself worthy and demanded that respect from others. I try to keep Phaez Place rated G so the babies can listen. Therefore, we'll withhold the use of strong language and explicit details. But I would be remiss if I did not make this plain to my listening audience. Sometimes people who say they love us do not know how to value us. Anything that compromises your self-esteem, peace of mind, and dignity is absolutely too expensive. These things are not to be traded in for a place at the table, to maintain a friendship, or even to keep the peace. You know if you're being treated correctly or not. You don't need a committee meeting, a poll on social media, or Google to tell you that. Your feelings are the only validation you need. Friends don't let friends live beneath their purpose. And if something in you is being triggered by what I am saying, then this is the sign you've been waiting for. Although Vashti lost her position in the palace, she didn't lose her purpose. Vashti teaches us that worse things can happen than losing a job, being unfriended on Facebook, or not even being invited to the party. Walking away from behavior that did not meet her standards was an act of protest that paved a way for other queens. When we walk in our purpose, we unconsciously give others the freedom to do the same. We honor all the brave men and women who came before us blazing trails, rejecting injustice, challenging the status quo, and disturbing the false peace, so we can operate in the liberties we enjoy today. We understand that the torch was passed so we can light the path for others to come. I pray we all will join in this movement in refusing behavior that doesn't align to God's standard. So friends, how can you apply Vashti's principles in your own life? What are some behaviors you are refusing to accept? Comment down below. We would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for stopping by Phaez Place. I love you all for listening.